Hi there guys, my name is Chef Keenan of Keenan's Kitchen and welcome. Today I'll be introducing you guys to one of my favorite dishes that I'll be cooking for you guys today. Today I'll be making my chili smoked chicken livers. It's very simple. It's a few basic ingredients done my way. It's been enjoyed by me throughout the years. So check it out and look what I'm about to cook away. Okay, so before we get started cooking, let's go through the ingredients that we require for this amazing recipe. First things first, we got our onions. I've got 3 small onions. We've got about 5 cloves of garlic. We've got about 2 teaspoons of tomato paste. I like it really spicy, so I've got fresh red chili from my garden. I've got 2 fresh bay leaves. I've got some rosemary from my garden, and I've got some overripe tomatoes. When anything is overripe, it usually increases the acidity and the sugar level. So cool. I've also got some seasoned flour. It's got some salt and pepper in there. I've got some chicken livers that have been pre-prepared. I've got some olive oil. I've got about 350 ml of chicken stock. I've got some dry chili flakes. I've got some thyme, and my secret ingredient, which is the smoked paprika. So these are our ingredients. First things first, let's start prepping our vegetables. Slice your onions in half. So you don't really need this to be chopped. You can just do a nice slice on it. Of course, I'm using a Scanlan knife. It's extremely sharp, so okay, so I chop everything in order or slice everything in order into which they're going to be cooked. So the first thing we're going to be doing, or the first vegetable we're going to be doing, is our onion, right? So onion needs to be finely sliced because it's going to be added to our amazing pan for the livers. So first things first, get the garlic sliced. I like a lot of garlic, fresh garlic. You know, fresh ingredients. It just gives so much more flavor, and then you just give it a quick little chop, not too fine, not too coarse. You still want a good texture. I still want to taste the garlic, so that should suffice. Liquor, onions. So that's going to be next in line to cook. Onions first, we're going to go with garlic. Once our garlic is cooked, next thing we're going to need is our overripe tomatoes. So simple tomato. The cool thing about these tomatoes, the tomatoes like really add a really nice acidity. You know? And you just give it like a rough chop. It doesn't need to be perfect because you're going to cook it out again, you know what I mean? This is real comfort food, you know. And then obviously one of my favorites, the chili. Very lasting. That we can't forget, that's also essential, is fresh rosemary. So we're just gonna let it just pull it off the stalk. This goes in last, and that just adds like a really nice fresh herbaceous flavor to the liver. So this we're also just gonna give it a little hard herbs like this. You tend to cook right there. I will put this at the end or close to the end of the cooking, so the flavor and the essential oils of the herb, it goes through, you know. You want the flavor of the herb to come through at the end of the cooking. You don't want it to be just overwhelmed with everything else. Okay, cool. All our vegetables are prepared, so we're ready to cook. But before we can start cooking, we need to prepare our livers for the pan. So let's get our livers ready. Boom. Okay, so we have our livers that have been prepared. They've been cleaned. You can see all the membranes, anything sinew has been taken off. It's at room temperature, very important there, because I want a nice even cook through my liver. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it into seasoned flour, just normal cake flour with sufficient salt and pepper. But before I do that, I add some of my secrets. So it's already got salt and pepper in it. Just to add to it, I put about half a teaspoon of dry thyme in there. And then I'll do about half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Smoked paprika going in. And that's just really gonna add nice flavor. So you just wanna mix that through your flour. Make sure your flour is mixed really nicely. Beautiful. Right? And then we're gonna take it from here. You're just gonna take your liver. You got your liver in there. And then we're just gonna give it a nice little toss. Once it's been seasoned, shake it off, the excess. And then you just put it there, ready to be fried. Just shake it off. So you just want it nicely coated with the seasoned flour. If you put in too much, it's gonna make your liver lumpy. You're gonna have lumps of flour instead of just a nice coating of seasoned flour. So, just beautifully floured like that. So, you don't obviously fry all your liver off at the same time. This is 500 grams I have here, so I'll do little by little. I'll do it in batches. So the principle here is just to get some beautiful color there, get it sealed off nicely. Then we're gonna remove it from the pan. Then we're gonna start adding all our vegetables, incorporating that flavor that's already in the pan from the liver. Okay, cool. So now that our liver is nicely seasoned, we got our pan on, and now we're gonna start sealing off our liver. Sealing it off basically means we put it in the pan and we get it golden brown to brown on each side. So that's what we're gonna be doing now. So we got a pan with some oil in. Once your oil moves around, it's a clear indication that your pan is hot enough, your pan searing is hot enough. So let's start sealing off our liver. Okay, so the pan's nice and hot, so you want to put the liver away from you. Just gently fry off your liver. Like I said, you can fry your liver off in batches. You don't need to fry all your liver at the same time. You want to get some nice color on there. Now you can't smell it, but I can smell the herbs, the dry thyme that we put in here, and I can smell the smoked paprika. It's coming through beautifully. Just make sure there's enough oil, and you get a nice fry on there. You don't want your pan too high, you don't want your pan too low. You just want enough heat, and I reckon just one more piece. Yeah, that's fine. Just check if it's colored. See the color on there? Beautiful color on that liver. No color means no flavor. Remember that. So obviously doing this, you're only sealing it off. Your liver's not going to be cooked through. It's still going to be raw in the center. We're just incorporating flavor on there right now. When you seal it, you put color on. Color means flavor. That's plenty color there. So we can just take these out of the pan. First batch of liver out. A little bit more oil. Give the pan a chance to heat up again. Next liver in. Cool. Let the pan do the work for us. Color, flavor. Nou soek ons net die ywer. Right. Pan off. Okay, cool. So now we've sealed off our chicken livers. Now it's time to start incorporating our vegetables. So if you have a look here, we still got all that beautiful flavor from the liver that we sealed off. That is how we're going to start building. That's already flavor in there. Now we need to build on top of that flavor and develop more flavor. How do we do this? I'll tell you exactly how we're going to do this. We're going to start with our onions. So our onions that we started slicing, onions go in first. Just spread your onions out. Just spread it out. Let the pan do the work for you. Just lower your heat slightly. Just a little bit more oil. Cool. So the onions are going to take on all the flavor of the liver. So I'm trying to scratch all the flavor loose onto the onions. You don't want to put your heat too high because then your onions are going to burn. You want to put your heat nice and low and slow so all the natural sugars can come out of the onions and the onions will caramelize naturally. So the way you do that is low and slow. So I've lowered my heat and allowed the onions to get all the natural sugars or the enzymes out. Okay, next thing we're going to be putting in, our garlic and we're going to be adding some of our fresh bay leaves. So garlic in. And then 2 bay leaves. Garlic in. Now we're working it here. Again, just a little bit of oil. Onions in, garlic's in, bay leaves in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go with our tomato and we're going to go with our chili. So tomatoes are in. Over that tomatoes going in. And then we're going to go with our fresh chili. Tomato paste, 1 teaspoon. I'll just take like a little bit of my chicken stock. Just a tad. Just pour a little bit of my chicken stock in and just work loose the last bit of tomato paste. At this point in time, tomato paste is cooked out, everything is cooked. It's time to incorporate our liver back in. So chicken liver is going back in. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to give this a nice mix to make sure that the liver incorporates with all the other flavors. And then finally we're just going to top it up with our chicken stock. So we're lowering the heat, we just incorporated our chicken stock. And then we can add our last ingredients. So last thing to go in is our beautiful freshly chopped rosemary. And then just to add a little bit more gears, I'm going with another half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And just a little bit more gears, half a teaspoon of dried chili. I did say it is smooth chili chicken livers, right? So we got our chili in 2 ways. We got our fresh chili that I've ground here at home, and we've got our dried chili flakes. So when you're seasoning this, keep in mind that the livers have been dusted in seasoned flour, and obviously chicken stock has a high salt content. So when you're seasoning your chicken liver, just keep that in mind. So after tasting my chicken livers, it's perfectly seasoned, but it's missing one key element, a little bit of sugar. So I'm gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So, coolio. The flour that the liver's been coated with will automatically help thicken your sauce. So it's a cool thickening agent that's already in there. So Just leave it low and slow and the sauce will thicken up and the liver will cook through tenderly, perfectly tender. The final taste. That's perfect. And this is my famous, or not my famous, one of my favorite dishes to cook. My chili smored chicken livers. Oh wait, simple as that. Okay, cool. So I just flashed some rolls quickly now. And now we're gonna be incorporating some of our amazing chicken livers on there. Yes, boy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Check it out, bro. Hey guys, so that's my chili chicken livers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Very, very simple. See you soon for more of my favorite things to cook. Cheers and God bless.